Well, hello, and I am so glad to be here on Friends and Neighbors today. I had to miss a few shows because I have a few little problems, but everything's okay, and I'm back here. And you know what? I have got one of the best guests here on Friends and Neighbors, and by the way, I am Sherry Tatum, but it's Ginny Ehrhart, and she has a radio show called Southern Sisters Radio. And she's hilarious, but she's also a speaker. She's a not a grandmother yet, but a mother of 6.
I'm a hopeful wannabe grandmother. Yes. No pressure on the children.
Right, absolutely.
We just let them know every now and then, anytime.
Yeah. But now, Ginny, you do things like helping us lose weight, about a positive body image.
Well,
now, you know we women are all about that, right?
Oh, I know we're all about that.
We're that.
Well, we are
that.
a contradiction in the sense that we want to look good and feel good and be fit, but we also love to eat.
Yes.
And I've always said Southern women can eat like no other woman on earth.
Oh my gosh,
well,
it's
true. Because we have a tremendous appreciation for food. Not that they don't in other cultures, but I always say here in the South, we approach food with just real style and grace.
Yes, I
you know what I'm
so
saying?
Too. Yes, and you know what? If it's a lot of it's fried.
A lot of it's fried. No offense to fried food.
Yeah. And a lot of it's carbs.
A lot of it's carbs.
Yes.
You know, I like to say there's no bad food, though. You know,
yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
You know, everything in moderation.
I think that too, because you know, even the Bible speaks about moderation, and we should be able to do that.
Yes.
But it is hard when it's all laid out there in front of you.
Okay. Well,
but you're
here in the South,
about
you think of our potluck dinners and the things that we do.
Cornbread. Biscuits.
Oh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
That'll be a whole other segment. We could just talk about that. But as with anything, women, just like women all over the country, women here in the South, we are inundated with images of women, of how, I guess, how the media, how social media, how magazines and television shows sort of communicate a body type. Right? That this is how a woman should look.
Yeah, well, how should we look?
We should look the way God intended us to.
Well, how is that?
Okay. Basically how I feel that means is we want to make good decisions, because in everything it's about health.
Yes.
You want to have a healthy body. You want to have a good long life, live a productive life with a healthy body, which means, of course, we don't want to turn our back on nutrition and things of that nature. But then again, understand that we can embrace some of those good, yummy things in life without overdoing it. It tends to be in the excess.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You know, don't drink to drunkenness, right?
Yes.
Excess. Gluttony would be food taken to excess. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Bible speaks of the ones that that their bellies is their God. I can't remember who said that, but it was because they ate in excess all the time. That's all they wanted to do was eat. And there has to be a control. There has to be a balance. And do you think that with the Lord Jesus Christ, if we pray about everything and ask His help, that He can even help us with our body weight?
It's no different in asking for anything else. We pray for protection for our children.
Right.
You know, my husband and I hold hands every morning before he walks out the door to work, and we pray for every one of our children by name.
Really?
Each and every morning. It's a tradition that my father and mother started. I remember seeing them standing at the front door, holding hands and praying before he went out the door in the morning. And we've continued that in our home. So there is nothing, and I've often told my children, there is nothing too small for God, and quite frankly, your health is not a small thing.
Right. Well, what are some keys to a positive body image?
I think one of the first things to remember, is that our bodies are miracles. They are miracles created by God.
Yes.
I don't even know that the average person fully understands what their body is capable of doing. Although if you're a woman and you've had a child, you know right there what your body is capable of doing, producing another human being.
Can you believe
with your own body.
And then sustain it. You can feed that
and to nourish that baby in the beginning like that. And you know, and I'm the mother of 4 children myself. I've had 4 of my own, and sometimes I stop and think about that, and I'm still amazed at what our bodies are able to do. But just so many different things, the way God created our bodies are true miracles.
Absolutely.
Do you know that our brain, while we are awake, in a day produces enough electricity to power a light bulb?
No way.
Our heart in our lifetime will pump 150 million barrels of blood. Now I know that's kind of strange to think of it.
150 million?
Is that incredible? That is how incredible God has made our bodies to perform. And yet we as women sometimes, we just bring it on down to what we look like in the mirror.
Yes.
We just bring it on down to just that superficial.
Absolutely.
So the number one thing I like to remind women is that view your body for the miracle that it is.
Yes.
It is a marvel. And don't just reduce it down to, how do I look in this dress?
Yeah.
Or what size am I wearing?
Yeah.
Or, is that a blackhead on my nose? You know what I'm saying? We bring it down to something that's really quite trivial.
Don't ask your husband, do I look fat in
Some
this
questions
dress?
you just don't ask.
Just don't ask those questions.
Although I have trained mine to answer that correctly. There's a right way and a wrong way.
I'm not going there. Or else I'm leaving. Don't ask me that.
No, I know, right? I'm the same way. So I don't ask questions unless you've trained him well. Don't ask those questions.
Ginny, why do you think we are that way? Why are we? It's almost obsessive.
It is obsessive.
In our generation, when I was growing up and a teenage girl, you wanted to look nice, but it's not like it is now.
We live in a superficial world.
I mean, plastic surgery at 15, 14.
No, something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
And that's a problem with the parents.
And I don't mean plastic surgery for to correct a nose, maybe that it's just all out of whack, or a chin that's maybe not formed right. I'm talking about things to enhance you.
Pure vanity-based procedures.
Yes.
And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I read about these things, and I'm thinking, why are these girls under this kind of pressure to think they have to do it now?
I believe they are measuring themselves, and we all do it to some extent, but they are measuring themselves against an impossible standard.
Yeah.
An impractically impossible standard.
Yeah.
So one piece of advice that I love to give young women when I speak to women, and even some of the callers to my radio show, the Southern Sisters radio show, we've talked about this, a popular topic on my show, is learn to become a discerning and a discriminating viewer. When you're looking at social media, when you're looking at TVs and movies and things of that nature on the screen, and you see these impossible standards, remind yourself that many of those are not real.
Right.
There's something wonderful called Photoshop.
You better believe it.
It's not so bad if you're trying to take the crow's feet. Yeah. As I did on my book jacket. I take the crow's feet out. But for the most part, those are not really real images. And those impossible standards are what a lot of women are comparing themselves against. We're going to fail every time when we use that standard.
Well, why can't we ever love the person inside, that sweet, caring, loving person that loves you, that prays for you? Why can't we be that? But you know what? I think it's too because. Oh, I might not better say it.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Men tend to go towards the beauty. Do you think that?
Okay, interesting. I had a conversation with my producer recently about that. We were doing a segment on my radio show, and I said to him, what is attractive to you in a woman? I was just curious. He's 25 years old, and he has a young wife, precious, and he said, really, health, energy, and a positive attitude.
Really?
He said to me, he goes, I don't care how pretty she is on the outside. If she's ugly on the inside,
well,
he goes,
true.
She's not really deserving of that second look. Now, obviously, the body is flesh. The first look is, there's always going to be that first look, right? But where it goes from there is really up to the heart, in my opinion. And why do women listen to that? Because they're believing the lies of the enemy, I believe. They are letting the enemy whisper into their voice that they're not good enough, their body isn't sufficient, that God didn't make them perfectly. And those are lies.
But you know what, though, Ginny? It's starting younger and younger with that thought, too. And I think that's why we have an obsession with the plastic surgery, with the enhancing everything. And we've got to be better. We've got to be more, women have got to be more educated. They've got to be on top of the game. They've got to be the best. And I think it's almost an impossible situation what is put on women now. You've got to have the best job, but you've got to come from the best education. You've got to have you got to be able to run 5 miles a day. You got to be able to look great, talk great, be able to fit in. It's almost more than a woman can do in a day, because then if she's married, especially, she's got to go home. Right. She's got children. She's got to take care of those kids and at home.
Get dinner on the table.
And sometimes, I think, why are we putting this load on women and still be this knockout woman?
I know.
And to their children also.
Also, we're listening to man and not to God.
Yes.
We're listening to the standards that man is placing on us. We're listening to the standards that Facebook
Yes.
and the magazines and the movies are putting on us.
Right.
Those are lies.
Yes.
I had a friend says, that's a lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
And it is. It is. That's not how
That's
God
great.
judges you. That's not his standard of beauty. God's standard of beauty is so different than man's. And once again, I'm not saying to turn your back on living a healthy lifestyle.
No, you
we
should.
want our bodies to be healthy.
I agree with that, but I think there is a balance there too, because some women can get, and men, over on this side of exercising until that's their whole thing in life. I've got to go run 10 miles. I've got to go do a mudslider. I've got to go through this thing. I've got to do that. When, you know, you don't have to do all of that.
Well, that's back to that balance thing we were talking
15
about.
minutes a
Anything
day.
in excess, right?
Yeah.
Even exercise taken to excess is not healthy.
Absolutely.
But you know, I would suggest take a tube of lipstick and write on your bathroom mirror, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made." Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it over every time those thoughts pop into your head. I'm not good enough. You know, sometimes women these days can't even accept a compliment. Someone might. I had a friend told me she got on the elevator and another woman said to her, "My, you look beautiful today." And she smiled and said, "Thank you," but she said, in my head I was saying, "Yeah, but I've got my muffin top, you know, and I don't look quite right. My hair didn't do quite right today." You can't even accept the compliments because our standards are so out of whack.
Well, we're going to come back and talk about chocolate and why French women are not fat
We're
when they
going to talk
eat.
about some happy subjects. Chocolate equals happiness.
You know, do you want to eat chocolate and not be fat like the French women do? Now, Ginny's got a little bit.
I got some secrets
maybe
for
you
you.
got some insight on that because I do love chocolate.
We should go eat some chocolate after
Yes.
this. What do you think?
I happen to have a piece in my purse.
Oh, every good Southern woman does.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to be back with Ginny Ehrhart in just a moment. Stay with us. Well, we're back with Ginny Ehrhart, and she is the host of the Southern Sisters Radio. Are we all sisters?
We are all. We're all in
We're
this
all
together.
girlfriend sisters.
We all battle the same sorts of demons.
Yes,
We have the same
absolutely.
sorts of concerns. And I say these concerns are shared across women all over the country. But something about women in the South here, you know what I'm saying? We deal with these things with a certain amount of, I don't know, sass.
Sass.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yes,
I mean that in a
absolutely.
respectful way.
Well, anyway, I want to talk about, I've been to France.
You
been
have.
to Paris.
Yes.
And been all over Europe. And you wanted, in one of the little things they sent me about you, you wanted to talk about chocolate bread. Chocolate bread and why French women are not fat.
Exactly.
Okay, when I was over there, I noticed that these women walked everywhere they went. They had walking streets.
Right.
Or they rode their bicycles everywhere they went. And I said, this is different from back home because on the back of their bicycles, they had little baskets. You'd see these big baguettes, these
Big old
French
baguettes.
butter, you know, and I'd watch them eat, slapping that butter all over that French bread, you know, eating that chocolate after I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture?
Why doesn't that work for me?
Yeah, why don't we do like this at home?
Because you know what? It's a different lifestyle. People look at what they're eating and they're saying, well, wait a minute. They eat butter, they eat cream, they eat ham. They eat ham bone and fromage was one of my favorite things when I visited over there, which is basically just ham and cheese on a big old baguette. And chocolate and pastries and
chocolate coffee.
Oh, yes.
Pure chocolate.
All of it.
Pour
All
in your
of it.
coffee.
You can't just look at that one thing, though. You have to look at the whole lifestyle. What are they doing? The book French Women Don't Get Fat was written by Muriel Giuliano. And
I'm getting that book.
Listen, I have not only the hard copy, but I have it downloaded on my Kindle. And I will refer to it occasionally because she talks in there. She has a wonderful quote in there about she remembered watching her mother eat chocolate when she was growing up. That was her mother's treat, was to have a little square of good quality dark chocolate. And she said in her book that everyone in the house understood that when it was Mama's chocolate time, that they were not to interrupt her, that she would sit quietly in a room by herself, and she would put that chocolate in her mouth and let it kind of melt on her tongue, and she would close her eyes and she would enjoy that chocolate.
You are making me want this chocolate.
I've got some in my purse.
I'm looking out here, and our ladies in out there going,
It is a very different experience than the way that we sometimes do things. I don't mean always, but sometimes do things in this country.
I was in a hurry.
In the car, stuffing a Snickers bar in your mouth.
Absolutely.
And then you inhale it, and then later you're like, what did I eat? That was good, but I don't even really remember it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not giving food the attention it deserves. We're not using all 5 of our senses when we eat. We should be looking at our food, smelling our food, right? Listening to our food.
Enjoying it.
Even the snap of the chocolate, or the simmer, or the popping of the whatever you're cooking on the stove.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Smelling it, feeling the taste, the feel of it in our mouth, and then of course the taste, right? All 5 senses. The French have a way of doing that. It's part of their lifestyle. They've always kind of been that way.
It's important to them, that tradition of how they eat, when they eat, how they do it, and it's slow.
They don't rush.
It's not rushed, and I don't think I ever saw one eating in the car.
No.
And you know, I'm guilty of that.
We all
I have to say I'm guilty, and my grown daughters, and I'm looking out here, they're all gritted too. We're guilty of that because we are such a rushed lifestyle here.
Everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. And I was there at one time. I had 4 young children. They played soccer. We had sports. I was on the go. I get it. I'm looking at this definitely from the viewpoint of a busy American woman.
Yes.
But if I can just express one thing to you and get you to sort of look at it this way, it is possible to get far more satisfaction from a 1-ounce piece of good quality dark chocolate than it is 5 Snickers bars eaten in haste.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I'm saying? So the idea that we slow down, we make our eating more deliberate. We need to stop multitasking when we eat. In this country, we have access to a plethora of good, high-quality food, more than at any other time in our history. And yet we seem to be enjoying our food less and less, and eating more and more low-quality food. So multitasking, don't do it when you're eating. Turn off the TV, if at all possible. Now, I'm as guilty as any. When my girlfriend came over the other day, we had Zaxby's in front of the TV while we binge-watched Gilmore Girls. I get it that there's a time and a place for that kind of fun, but in terms of your regular dinner routine, you know what I'm saying? Turn off the TV. Maybe put a little music on. Sit down, chew your food slowly, talk to your loved ones, create an atmosphere. It's an event. Doesn't mean it has to be formal. Doesn't mean you have to put flowers on the table every night, although that's nice. But it just means take back the experience of eating. It's been hijacked by convenience. It's been hijacked by speed. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's one of the French tricks.
But you're talking, one of my favorite meal of the day for my husband and I, or because it's only us now, is breakfast. Because we have that, we have made that a time for he and I to be together, to sit down, have our breakfast, turn off everything, and then read our Bible. And if we don't do that, if he has to be somewhere or miss something, it's very seldom. I miss that. I really miss that time with him, because then it's like we just have to rush into the day and start immediately. Run here, go this, get this, fix that, you know. And a lot of times I don't even get to cook. Well, we used to call it supper when I was a girl. Now I think they call it dinner. But a lot of times I don't get to cook because we're not there. You're not at home. I'm not there.
You are living the busy American life.
Yes, I am.
Like so many
grandmother.
of us. Well,
great-grandmother.
That's right. So you are especially busy, because you get lots of people to consider. You do. But this is a great tradition, the concept of purposeful eating. And this really has nothing to do with the diet necessarily, although I do suggest that you can enjoy it more if you're eating good quality food. Less processed food, more fresh fruits and vegetables. Take time to enjoy it. I bought something at the Sprouts Market, which is a store I like to shop at here in Atlanta. And I bought, they had these things called Gold Nugget tangerines. And they were the ugliest looking things. They were bumpy, right? On the outside. I was like, ooh.
I've had them.
And they're like, no, you have to try this. And the woman in the fruit department took one and peeled it open and pulled off a chunk and goes, here. And she put it up and she goes, taste that. And she goes, isn't that good? Isn't that sweet? And I'm like, now that's a woman that knows how to enjoy a tangerine.
And to sell it.
I went home with 2 pounds. I went home with 2 pounds. So I came home and told them, try these. Look, I pulled them apart. So just enjoying the experience and slowing it down, even if that means giving up an activity. I know that when my children were younger, at one point we just had to say, those are all the activities we're going to do. We can handle this much. If we do one more thing, we're not going to be able to be home for dinner, even 4 nights a week. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
So understand what's important to you. The French get this.
Yes,
They do.
I want to go back. You were talking about chocolate, and a lot of people say, "Oh, that's so bad for you." It is not.
It is
Dark chocolate is full of antioxidants, but
Right.
it also has a key ingredient called lecithin.
Yes.
And lecithin feeds the brain, but it also dissolves fat.
Yes, it does.
In the body. So you got a double-edged sword there with dark chocolate. You do have some calories, so you can't overdo it.
Right.
But then you do have the benefits of chocolate, and there is such a thing as being addicted to chocolate because of the good benefits that it has in it.
And it releases dopamine in your brain.
Dopamine.
Have you ever wondered, why do I feel so good when I got a piece of chocolate in my mouth?
That's exactly
why.
They say it is because what that releases is the same feeling as being in love.
How about that?
As being in
I've thought
love.
that. Yeah. So
That's
imagine
why
if you're
your
eating
mama
chocolate.
loved it.
I know, right? Imagine if you're eating chocolate with someone you love. It's a double dose.
Yes,
it's a double
give me
dose.
that chocolate,
You don't
boy.
shy away from it. Stick to the good quality. And you know, I often tell them, I do chocolate demonstrations often, and I've talked about this before. You used to not be able to get good quality chocolate readily available. It was just whatever they had at the grocery store, the mass-produced bars. But these days, you'd be surprised what you can find. Ghirardelli, you can get good 60% cocoa bars at the grocery store.
Absolutely.
Everything is, you can get it online.
Absolutely.
Also, you know, so we have an access to that. But once again, I'll do that, break off an ounce, maybe 1 or 2 ounces of dark chocolate a day.
Oh,
good for your heart.
Yeah.
Good for your brain.
Yes.
Because I'm losing those brain cells.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I'm losing those. So it helps in a lot of ways.
But you know what, too, Jenny? I think people don't realize the good fats either that we have, like in avocados and coconut oil.
We had salmon last night. Those omega-3 fatty acids that are so good for your brain and good for your heart.
And the good fats are so, people say, oh, no, that's got this fat in it, that's fat. You know what? The body has to have a little bit of fat just to oil these joints.
I know. Isn't that the truth? That's the way God designed us. I mean, he understood we needed a balanced diet, which means really it's not good to eliminate anything completely.
Well, okay, let's go back to this. How about exercise? What would you call a balance in exercise?
And what I like about...
especially older women.
Right, which I am falling into that category now. I'm there. I have arrived in that older category.
There a while, okay?
We all get there sooner or later. So it's important to remember, as we talked earlier about excessive exercising, that's not what's good for you when you're taking it to an extreme.
Yes.
I find that for me and for a lot of my friends, we've talked about this, an active lifestyle.
Yes.
Not necessarily where you're saying, I'm going to set aside an hour and a half a day for rigorous, you know, on the treadmill.
And I see that so much.
You know, because we're making up for an inactive lifestyle.
Yes.
You know, walking when you can, taking the stairs instead of the elevator when possible, when you can, getting in the yard, mowing the lawn, getting on the floor and playing with your grandchildren.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We slow down when we sit down.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and we age more when we sit down. So to be up and to be active, my husband gave me for Mother's Day a bicycle.
All right, I got one.
And I've given him one, an early gift for Father's Day. So we're so corny. We have matching bicycles now. So we're going to add that to our active lifestyle, our active routine. And I am so looking forward. And it has a little basket so I can bring a snack for us. So I'm going to put my dark chocolate.
Ooh, girl, you got it going
So we'll
on.
bike and then we'll reward ourselves with some dark chocolate.
You talking about sitting down with your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Well, my granddaughter, we just got a minute. I'm going to hurry.
Yeah.
Just had 4 weeks ago, 11-pound, 4-ounce baby boy.
11 pounds and 4
ounces. Yes, she's 19 years old. She and her husband well, that was their second child.
Yeah.
She had her first at 17. Now, I'm not recommending that, but she loves the Lord. She's happy with it. They love each other.
You got a lot more energy when you're 17.
You carry around 11-pound, 4-ounce baby boy. You will lose weight. When I go there, I'm exhausted.
It's like carrying a barbell around.
Absolutely. But you know
only a lot cuter.
Yeah, sure. But I'm strong like boom.
See, you are a healthy, young Southern grandma.
And girl, I can swing a pickaxe too out there in that yard.
Really?
Oh yeah, I plant
that's
flowers
excellent
all the time.
exercise.
But to be the age, don't use age as an excuse.
No.
Stay healthy, like Ginny has said. Don't be obsessive with it, but stay healthy and eat healthy. Be the best woman you can be. Thank you for being here with us on Friends and Neighbors. Oh, we're just going to break. We're not leaving you, so stay with us. We're coming back. Well, I'm glad we just went to break because I wanted Ginny to be able to tell you where you can reach her for speaking engagements.
That's right.
Because she does do speaking engagements, and she's got one of the most beautiful books, Seasons in the South.
Seasons in the South.
In the South. I mean, it's a cookbook, right?
It is a cookbook and a lifestyle book. It is
Okay.
filled with Southern stories and quotes and anecdotes.
Yes.
Many, many recipes.
And beautiful
400
pictures, I bet.
Gorgeous Southern photography.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know in her first book, Sunday in the South.
Sunday in the South.
Was beautiful. That was 4 or 5 years
About
ago.
4 or 5 years ago. That was all about, and it's still available, that is about bringing the lost art of Sunday dinner
it's
back to the
beautiful.
family.
And I have used those recipes. No,
They're
seriously,
easy.
seriously, I have used her recipes. But if you see the books that she puts out, they are
Thank you for
first
that.
class, beautiful, and I'm going to have her back on her next this book she has out now.
I'd love to come back and talk about.
But tell them where they can reach you.
They can reach me on my website, southernsistershome.com.
Okay.
If you just click on the Meet Jenny page there, there's a way to meet me there. My speaking ministry is really a passion of mine. I love speaking to women of all sorts.
Now, y'all hear this. Y'all hear it, so get in touch with her. She's giving you the way to do it. We got to go this time, really. I'm sorry, I don't want to leave you, but I have to. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, sweetie.
You're a Southern sister, girlfriend.
As are you.
Ah, we love it. See you next time on Friends and Neighbors.